Hey everybody, Kip here. I hope you are all doing outstanding today. So listen, I want to talk today about a tool that is extremely useful for those of you who feel lost. You're not sure what your purpose is in life. You're not sure why you are alive, right? And I will get to that, but first I want to talk about the current environment we're living in, right? You see, if you're the younger generation, you have so many opportunities available to you. There's so many options, right? The digital ecosystem, the robustness of our communication and information apparatus makes it possible to do work from anywhere. And if you have a service or a product that you're super passionate about, as long as you learn to build a business around it and you learn how to do it in that digital ecosystem, the likelihood of you being successful in this life is pretty high, right? But that's going to take some learning, right? You can't ask the older generation because the older generation has no idea about technology for the most part. There's a few people that love it and they live it, right? There are very few people who have the ability to communicate how technology translates to a practical application in real life. And even more strange to me is drawing correlations between digital universe concepts to analog universe concepts. You know, like for example, when Google Drive came out, a lot of people think of Google Drive as storage, and I agree with that, but I actually would make the argument that you should look at Google Drive as a filing cabinet, because if you think of it as a filing cabinet, well then the idea is that you would organize it like a filing cabinet. And that organization in and of itself would give you a sense of balance, give you a sense of control, and reduce anxiety, right? But that's something different. Today, I want to just talk about how the ecosystem is so uncertain. Basically, we are all at sea with turbulent winds, shifting landscapes, and very little direction on where we need to be going and how we need to be doing it. And so one of the tools that I found extremely useful in my life is what's known as the rocking chair test, okay? And the idea here is if we're all ships in the ocean and we're being tossed all over the place, in order for us to be able to know where we're going, we have to have an immovable object. We have to have an anchor. We have to have something that we can tether ourselves to so that no matter how we get pushed, no matter how we get tossed, no matter what direction we're going in, we can always look to this anchor. We can always look to our North Star and we can get our bearing and we can move in the direction we need to be going, right? And so that's what this rocking chair test does. The idea here is, let's just imagine that, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we do this properly? Let's get it in state, okay? So the first thing we do is we're gonna get our posture the way it needs to be, okay? We're gonna stand up, we're gonna get our shoulders back, we're gonna take on that power pose, right? We're gonna pretend we're superheroes. You know what? Screw pretend, we are superheroes, okay? We are what we believe we are. And so if you stand up, you get in that pose. Now we make sure that we use the transformational vocabulary we need. We're gonna make sure that we use words that are affirming and positive and strengthening and supportive. And as long as we do that, we're 2/3 of the way there. And the last part is the focus. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna focus on a point in time in the future, 100 years from now. Biomedical technology is amazing. We're sitting on 2 rocking chairs on a patio, right? And we're sipping some Georgia sweet tea. And I look at you and I ask you, what was the most important positive impact that you had in your life on those you love and, if possible, on the world writ large? And I want you to really think about that. Because once you start identifying that, and once you start making that concrete, taking it from just thoughts, I would recommend writing it down somewhere, because once you do that, it becomes real. It starts becoming concrete. And what you're doing is, as we reverse engineer what this impact is and who you are, what kind of person you've become, we start laying the groundwork for what I call the world-class vision, right? The ultimate target in your life, the North Star, that anchor. Every morning I get up and I do my morning routine. It's called a morning preview. And part of my morning preview is an actual review of my world-class vision. It realigns me. It gets me centered. It gets me balanced. It gets me right where I need to be to make sure that I'm living in harmony with my true self, my true soul. And so I invite you today, take the time, do the rocking chair test. Imagine yourself 100 years in the future. Imagine me asking you what the largest positive impact that you had on yourself and others during your lifetime? And write it down below in the comments. I'd love to hear it. All right? Thank you very much. This is Kip. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Have an amazing day. And I hope this tool is useful for those of you that are out there. Trust me, it won't be a one-time endeavor, right? Remember, we're all pieces that need to be sculpted, right? We're never done sculpting. And the idea here is to create this world-class vision. It gives you a life target. It gives you the ability to be able to sculpt yourself into the vision that you want to become. Once you've done that, everything else is superfluous, right? The TPS reports you got to turn in, right? The jobs everyone's screaming about, the politics, all of that stuff melds into the background, and you can weave it into your life accordingly, appropriately, and the way that you want it to help shape you the way you want to be shaped. All right? Don't ever forget this. You are in absolute control of how you feel and how you want to be at all times. Okay? And based on that emotional state, that will allow you to be able to think about where you want to go and what your future life is going to look like. We can reverse engineer that, write it down, pretend you're an author, right? Pretend you're a movie director. Hell, you might actually be an author or a movie director. It's time to do it with your life, right? Okay, because once you've done that, the rest of it actually becomes a little easier. You have less anxiety. When people start questioning your motives and questioning what you're doing and why you're doing it, you can explain it to them. You can tell them that this is what you are passionate about and this is why I want to do these things. You present the justification, right? This gives you the ability to structure and, dare I say, design your life the way you want it to be. All right? So listen, thank you again for your time, because time is super precious. I get it. I just want to say I support you all in your endeavor to develop who you really are in your life. And remember, it's your life, so design it intelligently. All right, Kip out. Bye. Have a great weekend.